What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As most people know, everything right now in the MCU is building up to Avengers Doomsday, but more specifically, Avengers Secret Wars. A lot is going to go down in Avengers Doomsday, but it's all going to come together, everything from across the entire multiverse in Avengers Secret Wars. And throughout right now in the MCU, all the way up to Secret Wars, we are going to see a lot of many different teams in the MCU be formed and hopefully come together to fight with all of these other teams in the MCU. We're talking the Avengers, X-Men, and many, many more. And we've even begun to kind of hear rumors about a possible Masters of Evil. Now, there are a lot of Masters of Evil teams in the comics, including one that Ultron has, but mostly everybody is thinking that Doctor Doom is going to have his own Masters of Evil team when he makes his debut in Avengers Doomsday, or possibly going into Avengers Secret Wars after Battleworld is already formed. But this is just one of the many teams that we will go over today. We have 10 teams to talk about, and yes, there are a lot more teams than that in Marvel Comics, but for the MCU, we believe that these 10 teams are going to be the ones to show up and be primarily dominant teams in the Multiverse Saga. So let's dive right into it. The first one is the West Coast Avengers. You might have heard recently a report about the West Coast Avengers appearing in the Vision Disney Plus series. Daniel RPK recently stated on his Patreon, "I hear the show will have elements from the West Coast Avengers comic run and might even have members of that team in the series." Now, this doesn't come as too big of a surprise because right now we don't really have a main Avengers team. We are about to talk about the main Avengers team, but as of right now, we don't have it in the MCU. They're kind of disassembled right now. We haven't had an Avengers team since Avengers Endgame. But with Ultron returning in Vision Quest, it looks like Vision might need all the help that he can get. And this might come in the form of Hawkeye, Wonder Man, which is a series that is coming from Marvel Studios, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and possibly Moon Knight. Perhaps this is how he could get pulled into the bigger battle that will happen in Doomsday and Secret Wars. And that would be really awesome because I know a lot of people, myself included, really want Moon Knight to be in this fight. And let me know who you think should be on the West Coast Avengers team and possibly go up against Ultron in the Vision Disney Plus series. Now, the next one is the regular Avengers, and we've already seen from the leaked trailer for Captain America Brave New World that Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who is the president in Captain America Brave New World, so President Ross asked Sam Wilson's Captain America to reform the Avengers. In the official trailer for Captain America Brave New World, we only hear President Ross talk about making Captain America an official government position again, but in the leaked trailer, we actually saw him say, "I want you to reform the Avengers." Sam Wilson then says, "You did the Sokovia Accords, and they tore the Avengers apart. They basically disassembled them, and then they weren't together to fight together in Avengers Infinity War." But then Thunderbolt Ross says, "Well, everything has kind of made me realize that we need an Avengers team. I am everybody's president now. I am the president of the United States. The world needs the Avengers." And then Sam Wilson says, "Well, what if we disagree about how to handle things?" And he says, "Work with me." So we'll get our regular Avengers team, hopefully at some point in time in Captain America Brave New World. And we're assuming this is going to be Spider-Man, the Hulk, possibly Captain Marvel, Hawkeye on this team as well, even if he does appear in the West Coast Avengers. And of course, there are many newly introduced characters into the MCU that we really want to see a part of this team, like Daredevil. And of course, a lot of us really want to see the Scarlet Witch return, Doctor Strange return, and of course, the mighty Thor. But let me know who you think our main Avengers team is going to be in the MCU before everything goes down in Doomsday and Secret Wars. And continuing with the Avengers, the next team is the Young Avengers. Now, this is most likely coming in the form of a Disney Plus project because we believe that we have pretty much figured out all of the movies that are coming in Phase 6. We did a video on that yesterday. If you want to check that out, you can. But it is confirmed by Marvel that a Young Avengers team is coming. They confirmed this with the ending of the Marvels. We saw Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, meeting with Kate Bishop in a true Nick Fury style fashion. She was waiting for her in her room with the tablet that she got in the movie, and she asked Kate Bishop, "Did you know Ant-Man had a daughter?" So those are the three Young Avengers at this point in time. But then of course we have other characters coming, one in Agatha all along, Joe Locke's character currently just listed as teen, who is believed to be Billy or Wiccan, the reincarnated son of Wanda. We've also heard that in the Vision series, there's going to be another character called Teen, same name. So we believe that this could be Tommy, or Speed, again another reincarnated son of Wanda and Vision. Plus, not to mention, we do have Scar, Hulk's son, who was introduced at the end of She-Hulk. So the Young Avengers might be getting their own Disney Plus show, but many insiders have actually stated that the Young Avengers will show up in Avengers Doomsday. It would be nice for them to introduce them before in a Disney Plus show, but still getting this team in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars will be pretty cool. But again, let us know your thoughts on it and let us know who you'd like to see be a part of the team. And moving on to the next team, we have the Thunderbolts. Obviously, they are going to be formed in their movie, The Thunderbolts. And recently, we have heard a report from Variety that Thunderbolt Ross / Red Hulk is going to appear in the Thunderbolts film. Now, of course, we know he's appearing in Captain America: Brave New World, but this is the first that we've really heard about him appearing in the Thunderbolts film. However, contrary to Variety's report, Daniel RPK responded to the article by stating they're wrong, he's not in it. So we don't know really what to expect right now. It would make sense that Red Hulk would be a part of the Thunderbolts team or be connected to them in some way, shape, or form, but some people are stating that perhaps just Thunderbolt Ross is in the Thunderbolts film and not actually him as Red Hulk, which would make sense. But as of right now, we do know all of the members of the Thunderbolts, and apparently they are going to go on to play a role in Doomsday and Secret Wars, which is awesome. So expect more of Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, US Agent John Walker, Ghost, Taskmaster, and hopefully Sentry, even after the Thunderbolts movie. Now, the next team is one that I know a lot of people have been asking about, and that is the Midnight Suns. We have heard a ton of reports stating that Marvel Studios is building up to a Midnight Suns team. However, there is one negative to this. We have heard that it basically all depends on Blade. Blade is basically supposed to be the Nick Fury of the Midnight Suns and the supernatural side of the MCU. We already heard Blade in the post-credit scene for the Eternals, and it sounds like what he was doing was supposed to be recruiting people for the Midnight Suns team, a supernatural Avengers team. However, Blade has gone through a lot of different changes and a lot of different release date changes, to be specific. And right now people are wondering if we're going to even get it before Avengers Doomsday or before the Multiverse Saga even ends. Now, Kevin Feige recently came out and confirmed that they are making it, but he did also say that they're not going to make it until it's right. So they're working on that right now. Hopefully they can get it right, but they haven't been able to for many years now. So while fans are still pretty excited about this movie, we're not holding on to its current release date, which right now is scheduled for November 7th of 2025. And unfortunately right now it sounds like if Blade doesn't happen, then the Midnight Suns can't happen. So fingers crossed that it sticks to that release date and we can get a Midnight Suns team in the MCU. If not, it does sound like no matter what happens, even if it's after the Multiverse Saga, Marvel does have plans for Blade and the Midnight Suns. Now, the next two teams people already know about, the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, who we believe are going to be brought into the equation via incursions. In fact, based on pretty much everything that we know about the MCU via Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Loki, Deadpool, and Wolverine, this is exactly how the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the Avengers, and every other group that we're mentioning all end up in the same playing field, all end up on the same space. So since the major trade outlets have reported that there are going to be just a ton of characters in Avengers Doomsday, over 60 characters, we believe that the incursions will start happening then, and we'll see a lot of these teams actually end up in the same universe, and then the multiverse will truly be destroyed, and everybody will end up in the same place, which we believe is going to be Battleworld. And I believe that Battleworld is going to be the Void, something that is left outside of space and time. So the Fantastic Four film takes place in an alternate universe, and somehow, we don't know for sure yet, but somehow the Fantastic Four will end up in the main 616 universe at the end of that movie. And the X-Men universe, we have found out, is 10,005, and Deadpool and Wolverine are in that universe as well. And the movie showed us that Deadpool has some sort of a higher purpose. The upper management people at the TVA wanted Deadpool in the sacred timeline. Now, it didn't happen in Deadpool and Wolverine, and at the end they let him stay in his own universe since it's no longer dying due to not having an anchor beam. But of course we know that that universe is going to collide with ours, and the X-Men will be in the main 616 universe until it gets destroyed. Then the next team is the Inhumans. Now, we've already seen one in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but a lot of people are really hoping that they appear at some point in time in the MCU before the Multiverse Saga is over. And that really is the great thing about Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. After Doomsday, or I should say at the end of Doomsday, that's when most of us believe that the multiverse is going to be destroyed, and then Battleworld is going to be formed, and then from there, we're going to have remnants of people and teams from the entire multiverse. So all of these teams should come together, and there should be a universe out there where the Inhumans exist. In fact, we already have one in Multiverse of Madness, 838. And since this is Secret Wars, one of the biggest comic events from Marvel in history, it would make sense to include Inhuman characters. So hopefully we see at least one Inhuman again in the MCU. And hopefully if we do see a Black Bolt, he doesn't suffer the same fate as the one we have already seen. Now last but certainly not least is the Masters of Evil, specifically Doom's Masters of Evil. When we talk about all of these hero teams coming together, we also have to acknowledge that there are going to be villains that come together. And since we can assume Dr. Doom is primarily going to rule Battleworld just like he does in the comics, he'll probably recruit other villains to help him. And heck, maybe even some heroes, because in the comics he does have heroes who work for him. Doctor Strange, the Thor Corps. Now a lot of them don't really remember the past, so I'm curious to see how they're going to handle this in the movie, but we know that Doom is going to have people on his side, working for him, whether that's willingly or forcefully. But it would make sense that Doom would have a team, and this team would consist of other evil people from across the entire multiverse. So this could be a multiversal Masters of Evil that Doom runs. And really, it is just an infinite amount of possibilities of who could be on this team. We could have Ultron, Thanos, a truly evil version of Loki. Hela could come back. The possibilities really are limitless, so go ahead and let me know who you would like to see on the Masters of Evil if Dr. Doom has that team in the MCU. Now, these are all the teams that we think are realistically going to be showing up in the Multiverse Saga, either in Avengers Doomsday or in Avengers Secret Wars or anywhere in between. But go ahead and let us know if this excites you or if you think some other groups should show up as well. And if you do, be sure to leave those in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all things with the MCU. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.